Yeah, hello everyone. So welcome back to my channel Q Warrior, and here we only discuss the interview questions that is asked in the testing interviews. And if you are new to this channel, so it's very important to subscribe and also press the bell icon to get notification about this channel. And today we are going to see another important topic, that is equivalence partitioning and boundary value analysis. And it's very important to watch this video till end. So let's begin. So we are starting with boundary value analysis test design technique. So it is one of the test design technique under the dynamic test design technique. So in boundary value analysis, it is based on testing the boundary values of valid and invalid partitions. So the behavior at the edge of each equivalence partitioning is more likely to be incorrect than the behavior within the partition. So boundaries are an area where testing is likely to yield defects. Because if you are talking within the partition, you will have valid data. If you are talking at the boundary, so in that case, there are more chances of finding defects. Okay, now every partition has its maximum and minimum value, and these maximum and minimum values are the boundary values of a partition. Okay, also a boundary value for a valid partition is a valid boundary value. Similarly, a boundary value for an invalid partition is called as invalid boundary value. So if you have valid data within a boundary, that will be definitely your valid boundary, and the boundary or the partition with invalid data will be your invalid boundary. Okay, now test can be designed to cover both valid and invalid boundary values. When designing test cases, a test for each boundary value is chosen. Okay, now for each boundary we test plus or minus 1 in the least significant digit of either side of the boundary. So in boundary value analysis, it is applied to almost all test level. Okay, whatever we have discussed, we will see it with the help of an example. Okay, now in this example, you are seeing that you have a age column where the only acceptable limit is between 18 to 56. Okay, now here you can see that we have created three different partitions. First is the invalid, second is valid side, third is again invalid. Okay, and as I have told that the values between valid values for the ages 18 to 56. So you can see that all the ages lying between 18 to 56 comes under valid, 17 comes under invalid, and 57 also comes under invalid. Okay, now you can see here the minimum boundary value is 18 and the maximum boundary value is 56, and also valid value input is 18, 19, 55, 56, or any number between 18 to 56. Invalid inputs 17, and 17 means less than 18 and greater than 56. Okay, 56 and more. Now first test case is enter the value 17. So if you enter 17, then definitely your test case will become invalid. Now what the benefit you are going to get with this boundary value, that instead of checking all the values from 1 to 57 or between 1 to 100, what you will do, you will just check the age at 17, then you will check the age at between 18 to 56, and then you will again check the value at 57 and more. Okay, so this way you can save a lot of time and your testing will be very efficient. Okay, and it will not be time consuming. Now if you enter the value 18, then your test is valid. If you enter 19, your test is valid. If you enter 55, your test is again valid. If you enter 56, your test is again valid. If you enter 57, then your test is invalid. Okay. Now let's see another example. So here you can see that there is a text field with the name which accepts character between 6 to 12. Okay. When I'm talking about 6 to 12, so if you enter anything less than 6 will be invalid, and if you are entering anything more than 12 it will again be invalid. If you are entering the characters between 6 to 12 on, then only it will be valid. Okay, now you can see here the minimum boundary value is 6 and maximum boundary value is 12. Valid text length is 6 to 12, any number between 6 to 12. It's not like I have mentioned 6, 7, 11 and 12. Any number between 6 to 12 will be your valid. Invalid, again, any number less than 6 or any number greater than 12 will be your invalid text length. Now, first test case, if I am considering 5, then definitely my test case will be invalid. If I am considering 6, definitely my test case will be valid. If I am considering 7, so again my test case is valid. If I am considering 11, again it's valid. If I am considering 12, it will be valid. If I am considering 13 or above, it will again be invalid. Okay. Now, equivalence partitioning test design technique. So it is also one of the dynamic test design technique. Okay. Now, in equivalence partitioning, it is also known as equivalence class partitioning. Okay. Also, in equivalence partitioning, input to the software or the application are divided into groups or classes that are expected to exhibit similar behavior, so they are likely to be proposed in the same way. Okay. And if you are selecting one input from each group to design the test case, it is like checking all the values from that particular class or group. Okay. Now, each and every condition of a particular partition, group or class work as same as the other. If a condition in a partition is valid, then other conditions are valid too. Okay. So if I am picking any value from a particular class, it is similar to checking all the values in a particular class. Okay. If a condition in a partition is invalid, other conditions are invalid too. It helps to reduce the total number of test cases from infinite to finite. The selected test cases from these groups ensure coverage of all possible scenarios. Okay. Also, equivalence partitioning is applicable at all level of testing, just similar to boundary value analysis. Okay. Now, let's understand it with the help of an example. Okay. If we have a field called age which accepts the value between 18 to 56, so the valid input will be 18 to 56, and anything that is less than 18 or greater than 56 will again be the invalid input. Okay. Now let's understand that when I'm talking about valid, so if I'm picking any valid class will be any data that I'm picking between 18 to 56. So if I'm picking 19, so if I'm picking 19, so it means that this valid class, all the test cases will pass, because what I have explained earlier, that this equivalence partitioning says that if you are picking any value from a particular class, it's like checking all the values in that particular class. So if you pick 20, 22, 23, any number between the valid class, so your test case will pass, and it is similar to checking all the values of that particular class. Now for invalid class, if I'm picking number less than 17, okay, number less than equal to 17, then it's a invalid test case and it's an invalid class. So anything you are picking which is less than or equal to 17 will be your invalid test case. Another class you have is that if you are picking anything that is greater or equal than 57, then also it will be your invalid class, and your test case is definitely going to fail here. Okay. Also, you can see that we have one valid and two invalid class or condition here. Okay. Now let's see another example. So another example tells that suppose we have a text field which accepts a mobile number of 10 digit. So for it, the valid input will be 10 digit, and invalid input will be anything less than 9 digit or greater than 10 digit. Okay, that will be 9 and 11. Also, the valid class for this will be any 10-digit mobile number. So you can see on the screen it is 9876543210. So it's a 10-digit number. That's the reason it comes under the valid class. When I'm talking about the invalid class, so enter mobile number which has less than 10 digits. If I'm talking about 9876543210, it's just a 9-digit mobile number. So this will fall under the invalid class. Okay. Invalid class, if I am entering mobile number more than 11 digits, just like 987654321009, so it's again a invalid class. Okay, so that's all in this video. We'll see most interesting and important topics in the upcoming videos. So please subscribe to my channel, like the videos, and also comment down on the video if you have any query. Thank you for watching.